beginning of the beat. I think it'd be fine. And then 6 months from now, we get a letter. Cease and desist. What is it? Cease and desist. I'm a big boy.
Yeah, and we're back on with the recording. So this tandem live record episode action is actually not bad. I thought it would be worse.
That's good. Well, this is the first one, the first live one, so it'll be trial and error. I definitely feel like we should do some. I want to do live one for autism, one for depression. One point in time in our career.
Yeah, I feel like we'll do our better work with that later on once we get some followership and can point them at a charity.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you want to talk about? Anything good? Anything happened to you? You were in Oregon.
I was in Portland.
Tell me how Portland is. I've never been to Portland. I've always wanted to. Tell me how Portland is. Besides your job, tell me outside of your job.
It's coniferous.
How is it like?
There's big sky, like you see in other Midwestern or Southwestern states, just Western states in general. In fact, there's real big sky. In fact, but there's like stuff going on around you, or you're not far from getting buildings up around you, to where the sky isn't so big anymore. But you can drive 5 minutes in any direction, suddenly you have big sky again. And it's a very strange mix of trees out there. Like here in Maryland, we're used to like not coniferous, but deciduous trees like oak, maple, big broadleaf trees, not the needly shit. Although we get needly shit too. That place is majority needly shit.
Really?
Yeah. Coniferous trees are everywhere. It's pines, firs.
I get
everything.
When I imagine Oregon, I just imagine like the biggest fucking trees you can possibly see and Bigfoot living in it.
I didn't see any of the redwood forests while I was there.
Yeah.
I was in civilization the whole time. I didn't venture too far off the beaten path because I was in training all week.
Yeah.
But it was just gorgeous. Like there were trees in civilization, and it was just nice. Like, oh hey, I'm walking down the street here, and the street's just lined with trees. It's nice.
Was there a lot of mom and pop shops, like not big name brands?
Yeah.
Okay.
There were still the big corporate places, but there were a lot more mom and pop shops than there are out here.
Okay.
Very cool.
I've heard things about Oregon. I've heard it's very like there'll be a Walmart there, but there'll also be like standalone pharmacies that've been there for 50 years,
Still owned by the original owners and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's something very American in my eyes that screams like entrepreneurship and owning your own shit, and I love that. I think that's great. I mean,
Colorado's better for that right now, though.
Is it?
Oh yeah. Far and away. Colorado's the single most libertarian place in the union.
Yeah.
And so you get like the best of the social programs on the left, combined with the sensical fiscal policies from the right in tandem. So everybody just basically gets left alone by the government, and you can basically do what you need to do so long as you don't hurt anybody else, and you're just good to go. Oregon's picked up on some of the leftist tax thing. Hey, my darling love. You want to say hi? Are you sure? We were just talking about policing. We're live on Twitch.
Oh, no, thank you.
Yeah. Fuck the Baltimore Police Department.
Who was that? I can't see.
Oh, are they still hitting on you? I'll kill them.
I'm just saying, stereotypes exist. They rented out a room for donuts.
Well, I'm glad she has a t-shirt on.
They rented out a room for donuts, ladies and gentlemen.
Donut room.
The Baltimore Police Department have a donut room.
I don't know if it's the Baltimore police. They
Oh
came in
my
from all over
God.
the country, so I can't.
Oh, it's a big policing conference. Excuse me.
It's
I mean,
Apparently,
see
Baltimore's hosting national training for policing.
oh Oh my god.
Oh, we're fucked.
Please check out the last episode where you can fucking understand what we're talking about.
We're fucked.
Dude, so Oregon. So I was watching
dope.
this like
It was dope.
sometimes
I understand the taxes are pretty high though.
Well, see, that's what I was gonna say. Sometimes I go down the rabbit hole with YouTube and I just watch some random shit.
Mhm.
And I was watching this thing. This guy was just he talked about every single state in the United States, and he talked about the pros and cons of every single state. And he was saying, I mean, what he said about Oregon was pretty much the only con is I'll drop something. The only con is like the taxes are a little bit on the higher side, but other than that, like it's nearly not as bad as Maryland.
Yeah, they're
Honestly,
in the top fifth. They're not as bad as we are, and also you can see the results of it. Like that's one of my issues here in Maryland is you don't see the results of the taxes. You see construction happening on these big corporate structures, but they won't fix the fucking potholes.
Well, maybe Maryland will change that once this marijuana thing.
Oh my God, Larry Hogan needs to get on the bandwagon. Like I can scream about Hogan's stance on cannabis reform for days.
How many dispensaries do you see in Oregon?
Google searches yielded countless. Like there were at least 20 within a 5-mile radius of where my hotel was.
Do you think it's over? I wonder if it's oversaturated or people are just like, meh.
No, they're all supporting themselves pretty well. There will come a point of oversaturation, but I don't think we're there yet. The national buy-in isn't there for us to reach a tipping point in that regard. Colorado might start facing that here shortly with oversaturation.
Competition's good, but too many though. It's just
it bogs down the market. Because the competition starts driving price way down, and supply can't keep up with that.
Yeah,
which is a problem.
Supply and demand.
Yep.
That's cool though. I'm glad you had fun in Oregon.
Oh man, it was dope. Like the training was awesome. The whole experience is just really dope. It sucked being away from my family though, but like outside of that, it was awesome, and I'm really, really glad to have gone. If I were to move somewhere out west, I think it would be coastal Washington or Oregon. Or Colorado, but like given there.
So when Kristen and I were first sitting down, and we lived in Middle River, and before we moved to North Carolina, we were like, where do you want to? We want to move because me and her want to. We lived in Hawaii for about almost a year, and it was great for our relationship, but financially it was horrible.
Oh God, yeah.
And then when we came back, I was like, listen, how about you finish? I was like, you only have like 2 semesters left, and then you graduate with a bachelor's degree from Towson. Why don't you get your ass back to school and finish? She went back to school, she finished. And then as soon as she graduated, she was like, where do you want to move to? And I was just like, I have no idea. I'm going to tell you the reason why I moved to North Carolina, and you're going to laugh your ass off.
Tell me it was the fucking taxes. Was it the taxes?
No.
Damn.
Well, our first game plan, I wanted to live in Seattle. She was like, no, it rains too much. And I was like, exactly. I love rain. I don't know why.
Thank you.
It's just
it doesn't work well for seasonal depressive people, though.
Yeah. Okay.
Same way.
So I was like, okay, so not that, and we're not going back to Hawaii, and we didn't want to go to California. I was like, okay, so I have 2 brothers. I don't really talk about them too much, but I have an older brother, and he lives in Fort Worth, Texas. And then I have a friend that just recently moved to Texas at that time, Jim Dooley, and I was like, well, let's.
Austin now?
Yeah, he's in Austin.
Nice.
So we were reading things and watching videos about Austin, Texas, and it's like growing. It's like one of those it's a good hipster town. It's just like barbecues, music scenes, just something.
The city's gonna start imposing taxes every fucking way.
Yeah. Well, we really were looking forward to doing that, but we were like, okay, I'm getting older, she's getting older. We're like, okay, maybe if we were like 22, 23, this would have been great. But we need to be somewhere where we can start a family. And then possibly her family come down, or my family, or somebody would come down for us.
So Texas is too far.
So Texas was too far. So I've always had a dream to live in Maine. Don't ask why.
I'm right there with you. I've always loved the New England area.
I like the small town. Just just leave me the fuck alone. I'm just gonna Stephen King write 15,000 novels,
Yeah,
and
that
then
kind of conservative town.
yeah, like
Yeah.
I just really like that. And by the way, Castle Rock, the TV show, I know he's just a producer, but it's in his world, which is pretty awesome.
I was watching Gerald's Game on Netflix the other day,
Oh, okay.
and it grotesque, the premise and the whole works. Like it was gross, uh, but it not like John Carpenter gross or The
Yeah.
Void or anything like that. It was just like the premise was really unpleasing.
Mhm.
But if you can muscle through that, it opens up and there's a blip in there. The woman's like hallucinating because she's strapped to a bed with her dead husband rotting on the floor next to the bed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 5 minute spoiler alert, by the way. Uh, it's the premise. But her hallucination of him at one point says all things serve the beam, and I was like, fuck. I lost it. I was no good after that because that's a Dark Tower tie-in. That's very specific. And I was like, oh, no. That puts this in a whole different light. I'm not okay with this. That weird guy is a breaker. And it made it so bad for me. Like, the horror got real.
See, so Castle Rock is it's set in a town in Maine where Shawshank is,
Uh-huh.
the prison, and then where was it Carrie took place, Cujo took place, a couple other.
Pet Cemetery was right by there, too, wasn't it?
It was. So they haven't referenced that yet. Now they don't really dive. The only thing that they're diving into, at least season one, is more Shawshank. It's all about Shawshank right now.
Okay.
And they haven't really dove into any of the other stuff. They mentioned things about a rabid dog that went through the fucking town, like. But
Cujo.
other than that, they haven't really represented. But so we wanted to live in Maine. Well, I wanted to live
Have
in
they
Maine.
mentioned vampires or anything?
No, not yet.
No Salem's Lot yet?
No, not yet. I mean, well, it's see the thing is it's on Hulu, and you think they would do what Netflix did and put out the whole season one, but no, they do one every week.
Yeah, they're doing the time release thing.
Like,
Hulu loves that.
Yeah, so
It's so whack.
so how we got to North Carolina. All right, I'm gonna tell you this. So I've always loved YouTube, and I've always liked following people that are on YouTube, and I used to just watch it for gaming videos. I love watching people like upload their gameplays and stuff. And then I started getting into the vlogs, like people that actually like it's like reality TV. I'm a sucker for reality TV. And it was there was a guy that he used to unlock his cell phones all the time. And I started following him because I was like, okay, I'm going to unlock my iPhone. I'm going to do this, blah, blah, blah. And,
Ooh,
but then I
channel,
realized
I like it.
it was a tech channel. Yeah. And he was from North Carolina. And I was like, man, this guy's pretty cool. And then he had he also skateboards. So he had like a channel just by him, his everyday life, but as a skateboarder.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So he would go around the town of North Carolina. I was like, let's take a day trip to North Carolina. Let's stalk this motherfucker. And
What?
sure enough, we came down here. We didn't stalk him, but we did come down here. And we kind of fell in love with Charlotte. Now, I've been
get
through
it.
North Carolina. I've been to the Outer Banks and things like that. But while we were here in Charlotte, we went to the city. We went to where we end up actually moving to, Concord, at the first in the beginning, which is right outside of Charlotte.
Sure.
And yeah, and that's so I kind of moved to North Carolina because of a YouTuber in a stalkish way, but I never saw him and I never went to like his house or anything. But it was
You
just
never
kind of
actually
weird.
creeped him out. You just like, kind of on a lark. If I see him, and it's cool.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just kind of like, and the crazy thing is, once I moved here, I stopped watching his videos. I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I just stopped watching his stuff.
Irony,
It was just weird. So we moved to North Carolina, but the West Coast, I love the small town feel, and I know Kristen doesn't really like the small town feel, but I like the whole small town feel.
I
Now,
like an actual small town, not like a suburb where there's no main street, there's no real business there. It's all kind of like
Yeah.
strip malls scattered about.
yeah,
I
like
I hate that.
if
Give me a
I
main
could.
street.
if I could live in like a Western town, like back in like the 1600s, I think that's what I would like. Just like
There weren't
I
towns in
want
the West in the 1600s.
oh the Wild Wild West. Okay, I don't know the dates. Don't get
Mid
don't make me.
1800s.
Okay,
Shortly
fine.
before
Yes.
and shortly after the Civil War.
Yes. So small towns like that, like
Oh yeah, no, I feel you though.
I just I like that. I like that. I don't, I say I do, but I haven't really experienced it. And since I haven't grown up in a small town, maybe I won't like a small town. But I like the idea of living in a town where, there's that one, maybe two doctors in the whole town.
And there's a
Or
walking strip where you see everybody every weekend,
yeah,
and you
and
know
yeah,
your
there's
neighbors.
yeah, and you help out each other and like, oh, okay, well, Rob, he butchers meat. I'm gonna go to him because I know what he does.
Yeah,
Like,
I got this deer. I need some help bagging it. Let me go to the butcher.
yeah, yeah, I killed somebody. How do I get rid of the body? I mean, I know how to do these things, and it's just I always say things like that with a straight face. People just get. I've recently just talked. I hung out with Ryan Rhodey for a little bit, and I think I scared him. I told him I was just talking to him. I was like, yeah, just throw someone in the grinder, make hamburger out of them.
Delicious.
And just kind of looked at him like this, like, and he was looking at me like,
Is
He's
he
like,
trying
"Yeah,
to be
you s-
serious or is he trying to be funny?
yeah, Rob, it's getting late, bud. It's like, but no, I like that small town feel. So I can feel you. See, I feel like Oregon's like that. It's a big state, but I feel like if you go to like Portland and stuff like that, it's still kind of a small town.
I was
But
right
in a-
outside
in
of
a-
Portland. I was
Yeah.
in Beaverton, where the Tektronix and Nike HQs are.
Yeah.
Because Beaverton doesn't have high taxes like Portland, but it's still got access to the city and hipster amenities and shit for the new guys. Because if you work for a big multinational, everybody wants to know what your amenities are at HQ, for some reason. So I was there, and it vibed Main Street. Like, it didn't take me far to find it specifically. I don't think Beaverton has a legit Main Street per se, like we'd see up in New England or like Lake Placid, New York. But it definitely vibed that way. And there was one right up the road. Like, I drove 5 minutes and found what you could say is a Main Street area.
Yeah.
A couple block radius of just like, here's where the businesses are. There are people walking, there are people driving, there's bikers, there's skateboarders, and people are saying hi to each other, going in and out of these businesses, and the whole works. So I feel you, and it was there in Oregon.
Yeah, I just feel like that's an I don't want to say that's an American experience because it could be anywhere, but that's just a great person. I don't know. It's just a good experience
It's healthier.
to know your neighbor, to know like I like to think in Ireland this is how the whole country is. Like
It's a
everybody.
healthier experience because everybody knows each other.
Yeah, and thou shalt not kill. What is it? Kill your neighbor, or thou shalt.
Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's goods
Yes,
or thy
but
neighbor's
it's
wife.
yeah. I mean, well, unless she's really hot. I mean, anyway,
Yeah, so
yeah,
the
I get
Catholics are diddling kids again.
yeah. Hey, that's another thing, isn't there? Isn't there somebody? Oh, that's a whole nother. Our last podcast about Baltimore. That was one other thing I forgot to bring up because there's some shady Catholic shit going down in Baltimore
Oh
too.
my
So,
god, dude. Dude,
but
the
hey,
Catholics just can't stay out of the fucking frying pan. They'll scrape themselves out of it and then get caught again, doing the same shit.
next week, Alex and I talk about religion.
I'm
think I'm
okay
ready.
with that. I'm totally okay with that. I don't trust Catholics, as a rule.
Mhm.
Like, if you've listened on a regular basis to a child molester preach to you about fucking morality every week for the majority of your fucking life, then yeah, I'm gonna have trust issues with you, and I can't expose my child to you ever.
Yeah.
Ever. Christianity, on the other hand, I'm totally okay with. I'm 100% okay with those cultist Mormons. And I'm sorry to any Mormons that might be watching. It is a cult. It is a sect of Christianity. But you know what? You guys keep to yourselves, and you're not hurting anybody else. Insofar as that's the case, I don't have a problem. Zero problems.
I think Jehovah's Witnesses are a cult.
Yeah, I have same thing.
Half my family is Jehovah's Witness. I know. Trust me.
But they're not like hurting other people.
No.
They're just pushy and preachy.
I feel like the word cult though is like a cult. Like I'm part of a cult. Like you just feel.
There's a modern American interpretation that is very negative.
Yeah, it's very negative. But
thanks, Jonestown.
I don't want to get too far off what we were talking about, but we should definitely do a podcast.
Let's do a dive on religion, because I've got a lot of things I want to say.
I say we do an hour-long podcast next week or something, maybe on religion.
That's fair. Let's do it.
If you're up for it, because I have a lot of I have a lot of I don't. Yeah, we'll wait.
Yeah.
To be continued.
Yeah. We'll come back to that one.
Speaking of the small town stuff, so. You said you would, if you were going to move to the West Coast, you would live around the Seattle.
If I were to go all the way to the West Coast, it would be Seattle, Portland, that corridor, right there in the coastal Washington and Oregon.
What are the things that you need to have, and for the rest of your life in a town for you to live in that town? What are the main things that you need?
Woods and a port that leads to big water. That's it.
That's it. You don't need like a store, like a big chain store. You don't need internet. You don't need.
I would like good internet.
Good internet.
If I've got high speed internet, a high speed that's a technical specification. So like at minimum high speed internet, a port that leads to big water, and woods. Wow. That's all I need. There is a point where I'm gonna go, no, that's too much big sky.
Yeah.
And there's a point where it's like, okay, that's the right amount of big sky, and that's not enough big sky. It's weird and subjective, because sometimes the big sky is bigger in some places that I like, and sometimes it's smaller in places that I hate. But if there's too much big sky, I've got a problem. It freaks me out. I feel like I'm gonna fall off.
Our generation is like one of those. I see. Our generation's. I love our generation because we had a taste of kind of old world and new world, because when we were younger, we didn't have cell phones and internet.
Yeah, we were pre-digital.
And so we actually went outside and did things. Mm-hmm. And now as an adult, like I'm on my phone all the time.
Oh, was it Oregon or Utah that just specifically legalized free-range parenting?
Really?
Yeah, one of the two did. I can't remember which one it was, but
probably Utah. I could see Utah doing that.
You know what? I don't think it was. I think it was Oregon specifically, and they legalized, like, if your kid's old enough to do that, if you're the parent and you deem that child mature enough to just wander off on their own, it's not child abuse. Why not? Why not? I support the shit out of that.
It's Utah.
Is it Utah?
Yeah, it just said free range parenting law passed in Utah.
Fuck. Well, I knew it was one of the two.
Well, no, you're right. You're right. No, see, but I crave that. I crave I want to be, what is it? I want to cut the cord. I want to just put everything away, and I just want to kind of like stay in a log cabin, just leave, just walk on my grass, piss in my front yard, I kind of want to
fuck alone.
And left the fuck alone. I say that, but I feel like the withdrawal from the internet, because I am so consumed by it in the last 10, 15 years, that honestly maybe 20 years, I don't even know, like that it would be tough, but I know that I can do it because I experienced it before without anything. And I yearn for it. I yearn to live in a small town where I have good internet, but I just want to stay away from it. I kind of want to just continue myself. Like I always joke with my wife. I always say, if you leave me, I'm going to buy a small house in Maine. Just want to let you know. If you want to know where I'm at,
I'll be in some small town in Maine.
Yes, I will get my daughter for the summer, and then, I told her, I was like, I'm never going to leave my wife. I don't believe in divorce, but that's. Okay. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that on religion.
No, that's fair. Because you are coming out of the Jehovah's Witness area of Christianity.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
But I will say this: if something did, for God forsaken, something happened, like say if something happened to her, my daughter and I, we will live up north, and I would try to be more humble for her, and be more like you can get on the internet and you can have a cell phone, but I want to do more things outside, and it's tough because like now as a parent, I see her going outside and stuff, and she's still at that age, and she still has some problems that she doesn't really do too much outside. But I yearn for that. I miss that, and I would live in. I would love to experience it. Live in a small town and do that. You know, what's going on? I can't. Can't see anything.
Yep. Okay. So I got a ding. Dinner is ready, and Bane was trying to eat it off the table. So.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in for the Couch on Fire podcast. Yeah. The first live Twitch stream. So
yeah, no, it wasn't too bad. We did all right.
That's good. I think we did good. I think it was good.
We gotta stick to the Mondays though, like hard stick to Mondays now, so we can broadcast weekly.
And I really hope. Though. Real quick before Alex leaves, I really hope you guys like that intro. Obviously, we can tweak a little bit of the sound that he thinks is copywritten.
Yeah, that doesn't fall in the under 3 seconds clause. It's very clear what it is. I'm gonna tweak that.
Okay. Hey, that's
the
fine.
Audio is fucking like the whole thing is awesome. I wish that wasn't copywritten.
Yeah. Well, I told him. I said
it might not even be. It's just too close for my comfort. I'll put that way.
Luckily, you're like a DJ, so you can figure this out. I'm trying to look at the camera.
I mean, electronic musician, but whatever.
Yeah, but hey, as long as you like the animation, that's all I care about.
Fuck, that was gorgeous, dude. So. Oh my god, I could totally work with that and put some dope audio over top of that. That is so awesome. Hard.
I kept it up. I think it's at 10 seconds because I was like, I don't want to intro longer than 10 seconds.
No, that was spot on. 10 out of 10 impressed. And good. No, pat yourself on the back. You earned that.
Real quick, I didn't get a chance to tell you. So I have some things up my sleeve that are coming out soon. But one of the things I will tell you, it is a coffee mug, and I did show you what I was getting. I gotta set up the merch store, don't I? Yeah. So, but the coffee mug is mostly for me and you, and maybe it'll be a teaser for people if they want to buy it and stuff like that. They can obviously order it for me, and then I can just get it made for them.
Yeah. Or we could set up a print-on-demand merch shop like that.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, you enjoy your dinner.
I'm going to. I appreciate it. This has been awesome.
Yeah.
This was surprisingly flawless, or tech issue free. There was a couple bugs, but they were quickly resolved, and I'm actually happy about how this turned out.
We were becoming professionals. I'm just.
I don't know about all that.
I finally ordered a soundboard, so I should sound amazing in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
That's not how that works, but I will help.
Okay. Please.
You can fuck your shit up real bad playing with a soundboard.
Well, I just wanted to.
No, I got you. I got you. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're going for. I got you.
All right. Well, get out of there. Go eat.
Yeah.